Hi, this is James Aldridge, aka Natty Jams, speaking for Music, live events and festival reviews. Now, today I will be discussing, in general terms for starters, I'll be doing my review of Glastonbury Festival. Now, I intend to do a few of these videos. First, I'll do a general video. Then I'll do something about the dance music of the festival, and because I think that's important because I'm a big fan of the dance music, and most of the time that I had off because I was stewarding, most of that time off was during the night time, which I was glad for, and I was glad that I was able to enjoy the nights, enjoy Friday, Saturday and Sunday nights. And I just wanted to talk to you a bit about how the dance music was and how it kind of progressed from last year. And we certainly saw a expansion of drum and bass throughout the festival. You kept on hearing it, especially in the areas that I was around. So I'm going to discuss that because I certainly enjoyed that. And I will also do a video on Kanye West performance because I think that is also very important, and being one of what I would say were the three kings of hip hop at the moment, I would like to kind of discuss that in more detail. Right off the bat, I'd like to say that this was the best Glastonbury I've been to. I've been to Glastonbury in 2009, went to in 2013 and 2014, and I believe this year was certainly the best. Not so much because Kanye West was there in particular. I mean, he was one of the acts that I really, really wanted to see, and I did get to see him. But it was just the whole experience was just fantastic. The music was excellent. It was fantastic. Especially in terms of dance music, I like that the most, I think, to be fair. And I was very impressed with most of the acts that I've seen. So I arrived at the festival on Tuesday. Not much was happening. It was just staff, volunteers like myself, just setting up, tenting, that sort of thing. Now on the Wednesday, most people arrived to the festival. So I set up a camp for my mates, and I know a guy who did that as well for his mates because he was working as well. You know who you are. We tented in an opportune place at Michael's Mead, which is one of the fields near the pyramid stage. We did that, and not much else happened on Wednesday really. I had a shift from 2 a.m. till 10 p.m. and not much happened. We were overseeing the area called the Common, and me and my sister also worked at a place called Copper Dollar, which was one of the venues in that little area of the festival, and I'll speak more about that later because we actually went out there. Now Thursday is when the act started kicking off. We saw Wilko Johnson, who is a kind of old school British rocker. It was very much drawn out in terms of the jams they had, and also the kind of the demographic of the people who are actually witnessing the music was quite old. I'd say they're in their 30s to 50s, maybe even 40s to 60s. So we're looking at a kind of one for the older generation of festival goers, I think, there. What I would also say about Wilko Johnson is it was very much a kind of bluesy rock. I would say it was that type of vibe, really, to be fair. His performance was not that gripping, to be fair. I mean, maybe it's just not to my taste, but it wasn't that gripping, and the music itself was generic, and it was alright though. It was good to have some fun, and that was at the Williams Green venue. Furthermore, the venue itself was very humid. It was very warm on Thursday, and yeah, it certainly was. It certainly added to the atmosphere that it was so warm in that tent for sure. Wilko Johnson, in a way, looked quite familiar to me, but I couldn't quite put my finger on who it was. And one of my friends told me it was the headsman in Game of Thrones. So Wilcon Johnson actually also seems to be an actor, and he played the character Cerulean Payne in Game of Thrones. So that was quite interesting to see that someone who acts in Game of Thrones actually also in a band as well. It was quite intriguing, but I think that was the real novelty of Wilcon Johnson. I didn't really feel the music as such, to be fair, but it was good enough. Then about the same venue, I believe, we have Drenge, who had already seen last year at the John Peel stage one of the days in 2014, and Drenge was quite good, for sure. But the venue was so packed we couldn't really get into it, so it was difficult to actually appreciate it. But I did enjoy Drenge from what I'd heard from last year. What I'd say about Drenge is they're a two-piece, so they have a guy singing and on guitar and a guy on drums, and it's a very, very rebellious rock and roll sound. They're a British band, so that'll give you some impression of what it's like. And yeah, they brought an energy to their performance. Then on Thursday night, I wanted to see two drum and bass producers, Ed Solo and Decline, and they were playing at the Heaven stage. So it's a kind of the DJ area is elevated, but it's outside, so the sound's going outside. And I went to see them, and I had a good fun dancing to them. And yeah, it was good. It was good to see them because I'd heard of them, and maybe possibly seen them a bit at other places like Tokyo Dub Festival and Boomtown, but that time I really genuinely did see them, and I was pretty certain of it, and yeah, I enjoyed that. I also bumped into my sister and my friends, and we went to see a group called My Bad Sister, so that's two female singers, and yeah, they very much play kind of sort of traveller, druggy type songs, I think, to be fair. But it was good fun. I've been introduced to them before at a house party, so it was cool to see them do their thing, and it was quite good. But they were hampered with a poor sound. And what I would say about Thursday was it was certain that the volume was kept down, and that was a bit of a shame. I think it was probably to do with the restrictions in terms of licensing and sounding, but it would have been good to have the full sound system, I believe. Now, on Friday, the first act that I did see was Catfish and the Bottlemen. However, the rain really began to pour when we tried and saw them, so we dashed back to the camp. I'm not that keen on the rain. It was very unfortunate that it happened, but I suppose we were to expect it. Then once the rain had cleared, but the clouds are still in the air, we saw Jungle. Now, I saw Jungle last year in the John Peel stage. This year they're the other stage. And now, really, what I would say about this is they really did match up to the other stage's kind of capacity. It really is a demonstration of how far Jungle have progressed from the John Peel to the other stage, because it was pretty packed at the other stage when we did see them, and yeah, I mean it's a huge testament to their popular success, really. Jungle certainly have had an astronomical rise from 2014 to 2015. This is mainly due to the popular success of their song Busy Earning, which has been included on definitely ad radio plays, and certainly has been on several adverts that I can think of. So Jungle are certainly now a popular band, and they really rose to the challenge of the other stage, and I think they did dominate it. At the start of their set, they did have a very young girl kind of breakdancing and everything, and the crowd was loving it, and yeah, it was quite amusing to see breakdancing on stage with them, and yeah, they just rocked out. They did well. They're they're electronic bands. They're not so much a rock band as such, but they do make a kind of electronic music with various instruments, and yeah, I mean, if any band really deserves kind of popular success, I really think is Jungle. I think Jungle do deserve their popular success more so than your average crop of kind of really basic hit factory artists. I would say like Taylor Swift or K-Shaw or Pitbull. I think Jungle certainly have. They're certainly doing the music that they want, and it's very substantial, and I praise them for that infinitely. Next up was Motorhead. Now, I'd only known the Ace of Spades from Motorhead, but what I would say was Motorhead was one of the best performances I'd seen at Glastonbury this year, because I was just so impressed with it. I'd only known the Ace of Spades, but their live performance was absolutely fantastic. They rocked out completely. It was very, very heavy stuff, but it was just instantly kind of satisfying to hear them. They had a great live performance. They had relatively good banter. I mean, it was kind of difficult to actually understand what the frontman was saying, but yeah, the bantering was brilliant. They were really riding the crowd, and the drumming was absolutely excellent. I don't think I've seen drumming like that ever. It's the best display of drumming I've ever seen, and the rest of the band were playing solid as well. It's a three piece. It's got a drummer, a singer and bassist, and a shredding guitar, and yeah, fantastic, brilliant performance by them. Very impressed, and I want to hear more from them. So well done, Motorhead, for what you did. That was great. Yeah, the drummer really was kind of a beast of grey and blonde hair, just completely going wild, and his solo just killed it completely. It was great, and I was very, very impressed with them. Also, the Foo Fighters were unable to perform because Dave Grohl, their frontman, had injured his leg. So there was talk of a secret performer, and most people believed it would be the Libertines, and it certainly was the Libertines. They did perform, and it was very interesting to see Peter Doherty in the flesh. That was quite incredible. We were quite far away, but yeah, it was cool. I mean, it wasn't as immediately gratifying to watch as Motorhead was, but I'm certainly compelled to listen to more of the Libertines' music. I mean, I had heard of Can't Stand Me Now, which is a great song, fantastic, and I do feel compelled to listen to more of the Libertines. And this is a bit of a kind of par-off, really, to people who are going to Reading and Leeds, because the main attraction on one of the main attractions on the Sunday for Reading and Leeds Festival is the Libertines actually headlining. I mean, Reading and Leeds also have Kendrick Lamar as well, which I'd love to see. But it's a bit of a kind of, it demeans Reading and Leeds Festival that they actually managed to play Glastonbury as well, because where are the unique acts at Reading and Leeds? I don't really know how many there are. I think Friday really was a time for me and my friends to be at the Pyramid stage, because we did watch from Motorhead to most of Florence and the Machine's set. Now, Florence and the Machine, she really did raise up to the plate. She had an incredibly passionate performance, and I think I was impressed by how she brought it. I think most people who were there were probably quite impressed with her performance. However, I wasn't that bothered about seeing her. It's not quite my music, to be fair. I wouldn't choose to see her, but what I would say was she did bring an energy and a passion to her performance, and it was quite unique and pretty interesting to watch for sure. Then after Florence and the Machine, we went out to the southeast corner. Now, we went to a place that me and my sister had stewarded before, which was Copper Dollar. Now, Copper Dollar, it's a place in the Common, quite small venue, with a rather large garden, and basically what it has is people dressed dressed oddly in kind of with skeletons painted on their faces, and they're kind of acting a bit cranky and everything like that, having some fun. And yeah, Copper Dollar was a decent venue. Had a bar. The garden itself actually was really lovely, and yeah, I got the crack with the people there, and they're all pretty decent and everything like that. So that was a cool little venue to go into. And then we went into what I would say was one of the best night venues at Glastonbury, called London Underground in Block 9. Now, London Underground is a jungle drum and bass venue based around the London jungle and drum and bass scene. And it is basically a large rave hall with a pretty impressive light display. And the DJs there were some of the finest. I would say it was probably one of the best clubs I've been to, in terms of the music, the vibe, the atmosphere. Just fantastic. I loved London Underground. One of the best venues to go for if you like jungle and drum and bass like I do. If you like to dance like I do as well, that is definitely one of the places to go and check out for sure. Then we went to the Cave, which is in the Common, and it's the venue with the waterfall. So basically there's a kind of mock rock formation with a waterfall, and that is called the Cave, and it's a kind of reggae dub catering venue basically. Now at the Cave they were playing they were playing reggae influenced dance music, and they were also playing bashment, which, while it was good, it was not as kind of easy and as kind of it wasn't as easy to get fully into as the jungle and drum and bass was in London Underground. But yeah, it's still Friday was a great night. I really enjoyed myself. And while my friends went back to the camp about 4 o'clock or something, I continued on to a place called Salon Carousel. Now, Salon Carousel, it's in the Young Fairground. It's what I call a traveller venue in a way, because it's got that kind of traveller culture vibe to it, I would say. And when I entered there, I saw Jan Baxter and Dirty Dyke. I just missed the end of their set, which was kind of unfortunate, really, because had I known what time they'd been on, I'd probably made more of an effort to kind of get in there as quickly as possible. But it was cool to see them, and the people from My Bad Sister who I'd seen earlier, they were in there too, and just a load of other people really, and also a dwarf rapper called J-Man was there for a small amount as well. But the main event on that night in that venue, I think, was probably Jackie Murder, who again is a drum and bass producer and DJ, and yeah, his set was great. I enjoyed it a lot, and yeah, again, I've been introduced to this guy before in house parties and everything like that, and in places like Bristol and Liverpool, and yeah, Jackie Murder it was a pretty solid DJing performance by him, and I enjoyed it. I danced to it and everything like that, and that was cool. It was cool to see him, and yeah, I'll take these memories with me for a very long time. Now for the Saturday. The first act I had seen on Saturday was Swim Deep at the Other Stage. Now, those of you who'd read my Dot to Dot Festival review and saw my Dot to Dot Festival vlog comparing Swim Deep and Fat White Family would know that I was not that impressed with Swim Deep when I saw them at the O2 Academy. I'm not impressed by their live performance. I love their album, but their live performance just isn't. It doesn't kind of. I don't feel the live performance as much as I do the album, and that's a real shame because it is cool to see people. Is decent to see the acts perform live, but again, Swim Deep really didn't bring that much to their live performance. The crowd was relatively small. It was a larger venue than the one they'd originally played in at the John Peel stage in 2013, which is where I first saw them. And yeah, it again, I wasn't very impressed with them, and it kind of confirmed what I felt about them in the O2 Academy. Really, I'm not that bothered about seeing them again too much if their live performance doesn't really improve. There was a rather large indie and kind of just established bands at Glastonbury Festival. I mean, we have indie bands like Parma Violets and Peace, Swim Deep, all are relatively new on the scene, last few years or so, and everything like that. And one of these bands would be Childhood, which is on Saturday. I had to dash for my 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. shift on the Saturday, which was a shame because I would have liked to have seen Childhood because they did have a bit of a buzz to their performance from what I garnered from the first few songs I'd heard of them. So I would like to check them out, and they're captivating enough to kind of intrigue me to explore their music more. Now, because I was working from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Saturday, the next act I saw was Kanye West. Just quickly for now, the set was in two parts. You had his newer stuff, so stuff drawn from Jesus and Watch the Throne and that sort of thing, and his new releases All Day and that sort of thing at the beginning part of the set. And drawing to the end, you had the older, more classic songs that he performed. Now, I enjoyed the whole thing, but what I would say is the people who are not so much Kanye fans, what I gathered from their reaction would be that they did not like part one, which is his newer stuff, but they did like the older stuff they did nearer to the end of his performance. That's what I would say for now, and we'll go deeper into that when I do a full review of Kanye West at Glastonbury on the Pyramid stage. Now, Saturday night was definitely one of my favourite nights because I was so impressed with Saturday night. On Saturday night, I saw Kanye West, the Mouse Outfit, who are a kind of British hip hop type, kind of maybe with a bit of ska influence going on at the Rum Shack. After that, I saw Gardner, who's a Bristol-based rapper, MC, and he was good for sure. Shouts out to him because that was a damn good set right there, and he was handing out CDs as well, which is cool. I mean, I didn't see anyone else who was handing out their CDs, so tops to him for that one. And after Gardner, I imagine we went back to the Sound Carousel. I believe I saw a drum bass producer and DJ called Mandy Dexterous, who I've been introduced to at Lampeter from my housemates, and yeah, I'm really glad I saw them as well because I like their music. It's again it's kind of drum and bass, and I'm a big fan of that, to put it bluntly. Really. So it was cool to see them, and then once we'd seen a bit of Mandy Dexterous, not too long in the Silent Carousel for that one, we went over to see Fat White Family at the Hill Stage in Shangri-La. And that was a great performance. Whole group was pretty drunk, having a good time at that point, and it was good. I mean, I got onto people's shoulders, but at one point started dancing a bit and everything. It was a solid performance by them. Seen them as of now, I've seen them about 4 times, and every live performance they do has its distinctions, and there are bands that really do come into their own when they play live. I'd also would have mentioned on my review of Dot Festival and the vlog for it as well, so check that out when you can. And then when it came to Sunday, again, due to just packing up and stuff like that, and really just not bothering that much with the bands necessarily, didn't see that much. Saw Parma Violets on the other stage. What I would say about that is it was an introduction to their music. I hadn't really listened to their music before, but yeah, very very much indie band, and they had a reasonably sized crowd, but sometimes I feel that newer bands can't really actually fill the other stage area. But all in all, Palm Violets did perform well. As for the headliners, on Sunday we saw Paul Weller and The Who, and we're very close. I mean, one of the regrets that I had watching Kanye was we didn't really have the time or the possibly even the will really to kind of sift through so many people. So my view of Kanye West wasn't the greatest, but I definitely did see him. That wasn't the same for Paul Weller and The Who. We were there. We're there very quite near the front, to be fair, for Paul Weller and The Who. So we did get lots of glimpses of them and definitely saw them. As for Paul Weller's performance, not really that gripping. None of his music really interested me that much, to be fair. I realise how much of a legend he is in the eyes of some people, but I really do not feel compelled to actually go out and seek his music, really, because it really didn't strike a chord with me at all. But again, as I said, it is always good to actually see people live, and yeah, it was alright, I suppose, but not great, not compelled to listen to his music. The Who are the final headliners. While I knew a few of their songs, again, not hugely compelled to listen to their music, but what I would say about their performance was the cinematics. The cinematics of their performance was very, very good. They had a kind of they had loads of kind of mod art work going on. Before the gig, they had kind of infomercial type things about the impact of the band has had on the world, effectively. So you have the smashing up of the guitars, and also touching tributes to Keith Moon, their drummer, and John Entwistle as well. So before the performance, you got an idea of the band's impact, and that was quite interesting to see. Also interesting to see was the live performance, was the cinematics of the live performance, with all the kind of the mod inspired artwork. Quite entertaining, to be fair. And also during one of their songs, they had a kind of a god-esque like figure in the middle with lots of interesting artwork going on, cinematics in particular. That was really good. And also you had the kind of the mod crew on their classical bikes driving round the White Cliffs of Dover and that sort of thing. So it was interesting to see, but I'm not really intrigued to listen to The Who that much, to be fair. I'm not that bothered about them. The Sunday night was very good, despite actually not hearing too much. We went into Shangri-La, but we didn't really pursue that much of the music there. We did actually go into a place called Pluto's Bazaar, and there we heard a group called Gypsy Unit. So I think it's usually a 3-piece, 2 males and 1 female singer, with songs termed "Sorry, Mr. Policeman" and "Benefit Street," and yeah, they're pretty decent jams. And again, I'd heard their music at house parties in Liverpool and Bristol, so I was acquainted with their music, and I was enjoying it, to be fair. That was good. Not a great deal else happened on the Sunday night, but yeah, fantastic. Take the memories with me for a very, very long time of what happened there. After quite a lot of wandering around the kind of the park area of the festival, went to Somerville for one point. There was a lot of banter and stuff going on in our friend group, and eventually we decided on going to the Stone Circle to see the sunrise. Yeah, more hilarious conversations and stuff like that within our friend group, and I did get the unique opportunity of meeting Mark Ronson. Now, what I did was I congratulated him. I said thank you for the hip hop songs that he produced, and these are "Baby Blue" by Action Bronson featuring Chance the Rapper. Fantastic, incredible song. Please check my review of that song out. It's a great song. I enjoy it a lot. Mark Ronson's production is actually just solid, really, to be fair. Really good vibe to that track. Love it. And also, he produced Every Day by ASAP Rocky for his new album, At Long Last ASAP. And I have no doubt that many of you have already heard that tune on the radio. Every Day is a very good song. It's got a sample from Rod Stewart in it, and yeah, it's a great song. So it was cool to meet Mark Ronson, kind of an experience that I'll cherish, and we kind of toasted, and yeah, got on with it. But yeah, that was great, and to see the sunrise as well, that was a special occasion. So all in all, what I'd say for Glastonbury Festival is it's a great festival. You see a great variety of acts, and I saw a lot of rapping. I saw lots of big name bands, lots of indie bands, and lots of DJ producers, mainly on the drum and bass fort, and I do not have a problem with that because I do really enjoy that genre and it's great to dance to. So yeah, all in all, the best Glastonbury that I've been to so far. Very much looking forward to next year because this year was so good. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment, like, get into this discussion. Did you think this was the best year too? I mean, I think it's surreal that I didn't bump into many people as I thought I would, because a lot of people I know went there, it seems. I just didn't bump into them. So, yeah, what did you think of the festival? Did you enjoy it? Do you have any festival essentials that you would say, having actually experienced the festival? And yeah, let's get a discussion going. Thank you very much for watching. This has been James Aldridge, aka Night Jams, from the front row.